Parlay Kid, you have bigger fish to fry with the Knicks, and that is one stinky fish you're frying. Let's hear a couple thoughts. I mean, they lost their last 3 games to teams who are starting like their third string. And what were they up? 22 against the Nets?
Oh, 22. That's it was close 28. To 30. It's close to 30. Like at least 28 points at one point. Yeah, you can go back to the Portland game, then the OKC game with nobody on their floor that night, except for Josh Giddey, who had a great performance. And then last night, you're playing your crosstown rivals with really, again, none of their stars playing. You're up by 28 points. And then for the third game in a row, you blow a huge lead. And this is the life of a Knicks fan. This is how we know it. It was an aberration last year, obviously, to what happened. Look, Sal, Tom Thibodeau, we go back and forth with our pal Alec. You know, he's always
no one's more tickled about this than Alec.
He loves it because
he's
I
like,
was all in.
You know, I picked this, Darren. You know, I picked this.
Right. I like the Thibodeau hire. I don't think anybody knows anything more. Nobody knows more about basketball than Tom Thibodeau. The guy, he lives and sleeps and breathes basketball. Right? He's an unmarried guy. No kid. This is all the guy does is basketball. Nobody knows more about basketball than him. But can he coach like it? Can you start coaching like you know basketball? He coaches as if maybe he was a guy right out of like high school coaching a pro team lately, giving too many minutes. Like last night, perfect example. Alec Burks is having a terrible game. Quickly is having a great game. The Nets are making a run, and Burks is on the floor, not Quickly. Little things like that keep happening. We give minutes to Kemba Walker, to Taj Gibson, to Nerlens Noel. I like these. They're nice guys. They seem like they're good guys. But at what point for the Knicks is there ever a youth movement? Is there ever a youth movement to say, you know what? You've had your chance. This has got to be R.J. Barrett's team going forward. Randall has shown he cannot carry the team. Of course, in Knicks fashion, he had a great year last year, and then we make him our franchise player. And now he's the worst franchise player in the NBA. And he happens to be on who? The Knicks. Of course he's on the Knicks. And just these are the things that constantly happen. And now they're saddled with his contract for years.
Yeah.
They got Fournier, who has an untradeable contract, it seems like.
Harry, keep quiet.
They couldn't make a deal at the deadline.
Yeah.
What has happened is a complete disaster, and it's the worst thing for it. This is what starts to happen. The worst case scenario right now is at least I'm passionate about this, but it gets to the point where eventually you just don't care, right? And that's the worst thing that can happen to you as a fan is when you stop caring. And thank goodness they're so lucky that the guard, everybody, you know, something, Brian could tell you this, everybody else loves to play in the Garden except the Knicks. Like these guys come in, these no-name players have their career games in the Garden, and the Knicks can never respond. That is supposed to be the mecca of basketball. Yeah. Give me a break. Can you have some pride and win games in that arena? So it's become a disaster. It starts from the top. I think somebody would say until Dolan is out, it just seems like this team will constantly be doomed. Was Alec right? I guess Alec was. I'm saying it right here. I guess Alec was right.
Don't do it.
But can we give Toppin some more minutes and Quickly and McBride? That at least the fans would have something to root for. R.J. Barrett's team, Brian. Can we make it R.J. Barrett's team? We got in touch with Jerry Ferrara last night. He's going nuts about this stuff. It's great. I read Jerry Ferrara should run the Knicks.
He's in hiding.
He should run the Knicks. He should run the Knicks. That's what he should do. Right?
I don't think he can since that Malice in the Palace incident. I don't think I don't think the league wants anything to do with him.
And Brian's right. There's probably no easier job in sports than being an NBA GM should be easy. Yet they all stink. All these GMs stink. They're the worst.
They give Randall they give him the money after a terrible series against the Hawks. And the Knicks, by the way, to add insult to injury, first team in 25 years to blow 3 20-plus leads in the same calendar month.
Is this the rock bottom for them? Because you could say they had bad years and everything where they would, oh my God, I can't watch this team. They're winning 27 games or whatever. But this, because they gave you a glimmer of hope with that Julius Randle year and everything that happened last year. And it's a coin toss against the Hawks. And like, oh, we'll be better. Tibbs, they play for Tibbs, all this. To now come back and that stat that Harry just gave, like in a way, this is rock bottom again, or a different rock bottom.
Yeah,
right?
because here's the weird thing is they definitely technically on paper have more talent this year than they had last year. Like on paper, the talent says they should be better, and yet they're significantly worse on both sides. They're less efficient on the offense.
And they gave you hope last year. They gave you hope after that.
They gave us hope. We were like, oh man, we're going to build. Maybe a free agent will want to come to the Knicks now, like a real free agent.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Are we ever going to get one?
I don't know.
I do have a guy I think who will come to the Knicks.
Who?
The guy is going to be
just a guy?
Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell will be the one guy. He's going to want out of Utah. He's got ties to New York. His father worked for the Mets, Sal. He's the guy who's going to come to the Knicks and save us eventually.
Oh, man. I don't know.
Donovan Mitchell. He would be a great find for New York. We should have had
okay with the Utah.
I was going to say we should have drafted him.
Ntilikina instead of Donovan Mitchell. The Knicks, as long as the Knicks, if the Knicks get the first pick, they'll still screw it up. They screw up every single draft pick every single year. Whether if they had the 6th pick, the guy who's drafted 7th turns out to be significantly better.
Yeah, but can you imagine if you had Zion right now? That would be the thing too, right? Like how great it just would have been. It is easy to be a GM, but it's also tough when the James Hardens have you over a barrel.
I know the players run the league. They run the league. Right.
But it is ridiculous that none of them want to play in New York.
Why doesn't somebody want to come to New York? Why doesn't somebody? Let's get some real players in here. Like if you got to the NBA conference finals, you'd be a legend in New York at this point. You'd be a legend. They'd love you. Like that's
Careful
it.
what you wish for, though. You got LeBron, AD, and Westbrook here, and everybody wants to strangle them on the street if they run into them. But I know there was a title in there somewhere.
Yeah, but they also got Carmelo, Sal.
Right. All right, Babyface, jump in here. What did you think of that rant? You called for it. You got it.
I'm worried Parlay Kid's not going to have a voice left for Sharp Tank, but it's word for word perfect. I love that he's already calling for Donovan Mitchell. This is what we get, and I cashed. I had the over 5 minutes on this rant, and that's a wonderful.
You think they should hang it in the rafters at MSG? Donovan Mitchell's going to hear this. He's like, whoa, what the hell did I do? Leave me out of this. I want nothing to do with this.
Somebody's got to get him here. I'll be the guy. Remember, I got Garth Snow out of the Islanders. Although that sucks too.
We know you can get rid of guys. I can't even win
with the Islanders anymore. This is terrible. How do
Ryan,
people
you have
live?
anything to add?
No, I think Parlay Kid said it all. I mean, it's
literally said it all.
I don't know what else I could add to that. But yeah, no, it's been. I mean, it's just been pathetic, and it's starting to feel again like it did a few years ago. Like you said, it's frustrating, and I don't know what they do to. I honestly don't know what they do to fix it, because in the offseason, can you unload Randall for just get rid of the contract, essentially? Maybe somebody will pick him up.
Maybe last offseason. I don't know about this offseason.
Well, it's weird. Like he didn't there's the thing is with the NBA, when you look at contracts, right, there's still going to be somebody, you look at all of them and you're like, oh man, there's so many bad contracts in the NBA. So like when you look at Randall and you're like, he's got 3 years left, it's still at 30 something million. Like, well, I'll tell you what, like, I think that was the thing with the Knicks. They were worried with Randall last year. You know what? They could have waited until this year to sign him to an extension, but they thought, you know what? If he has a big year, now we owe him $200 and something million. So instead, we owe him $100. So again, maybe that low of a contract, maybe somebody will pick him up. Obviously, we're gonna have to take back contract salaries, but I don't know. It's frustrating, and I absolutely hate Fournier. I hated the Walker deal when they made the Walker deal. Whatever.
Well, you know what? We really should have had Jerry on, except looking at it now, I don't know if he has as much cachet as the bathwater guy. So it was one or the other. We couldn't really have both. But no, I love Jerry, and I feel for you guys. And I mean, this Knicks thing is going to be ongoing, and of course, they need someone like Donovan Mitchell. Which Knick is in the All-Star game this weekend?
Obi's in the slam dunk contest.
Obi's in the slam dunk. All right,
enough
so
of
you got
this
something
crap.
to root for.
Enough. I don't even care about that.
Well, the thing is,
ridiculous.
They don't even have a rising star, right? That was the thing. Even for the rising star game with like 40 guys in it, there's no Knicks over the last 2 seasons that can make this team.
Right.
Because Thibodeau's in the process of ruining quickly too now. So it's just the way it is.
Oh, you're against Tibbs. I can't believe it's all come down to this. Very strange.
It's not, look, that's the thing with the Knicks. It's a collective from the ownership to the GMs, the people making the calls, to the coach, to the team. Everybody stinks.
Mm-hmm.
They all stink. It's not like, it's just the coach that's bad. The players, if you're good enough to get a 28-point lead, you're good enough to win the game. I'm sorry, you can't. How do the players blow these games? It's at some point it's got to be on the players too. But
yeah,
that's what they have. But there's got to be better rotation. There's so much wrong. Again, Tibbs is the guy knows basketball.
Mm-hmm.
How has he not figured something out yet? It's ridiculous.
I don't know. Everything goes wrong.